Galleria Borghese. There is so much to admire here, but I will focus on the key highlights. Please take your time to explore and enjoy the many other remarkable works of art on display. One of the main artists that we'll be looking at is Bernini, one of the most celebrated sculptors of the Baroque period, known for his ability to bring stone to life with breathtaking details and emotions. Now, to enhance your experience, I'd like to share a brief introduction to this fascinating artist and his masterpieces. Something remarkable you must know is that the statues we'll be seeing in this gallery were sculpted by Bernini when he was just 23 years old. Can you believe that? Just 23. At the time, artists often drew inspiration from ancient mythologies for their creations. In fact, mythology offered an endless source of expression with its timeless tales of gods and goddesses. Actually, these are stories that continue to captivate and enchant us even today. Bernini was a true master of drawing from these ancient stories and breathing life into his sculptures, capturing the very essence of their narratives. I like to think of Bernini as a musician or a poet, someone who, with just a few notes or words, could convey a message, tell stories, or evoke a complete thought. To give you a better sense of Bernini's work, imagine reading a great book or watching an unforgettable movie. At the end, there is always a message or emotion that remains with you, something profound conveyed by the story. Bernini achieves the same depth in his sculptures. Even though they are still, his statues seem alive, capturing an entire story and its emotion in a single frozen moment. First statue of Bernini where we can see all these is in Apollo and Daphne. In Apollo and Daphne statue there are three main protagonists, although just Apollo and Daphne are visible. Apollo, the god of music and poetry. Number 2, Eros or Cupid, the god of love. And the third is Daphne, who is a nymph, daughter of the god of the river. The story here is that Eros, in revenge to an insult by Apollo, strikes him with a golden arrow that makes him fall in love with Daphne. With another arrow made out of lead, Eros strikes Daphne so that she feels unattracted to Apollo. Sounds like a modern everyday love story to me. Now Daphne runs away from Apollo, but he is able to get closer to her. It is at the very moment when he is able to reach her that Daphne cries for help to her father, the god of the river, who, knowing her daughter's vow to remain virgin, transforms her into a laurel tree so that she could not be violated. The statue captured the exact moment when Apollo reaches Daphne, only to find her already transforming into bark and leaves by her father's intervention. You can see the barks replacing her skin, her toes turning into roots, her arms becoming branches, and her hair transforming into leaves. Despite her transformation into a laurel tree, Apollo's love for Daphne endures. This is where the symbolism of laurel leaves and virtue, embodied by Daphne, originates. Laurel becomes a symbol of triumph and honor, which is why Roman emperors wore laurel crowns around their heads as a mark of victory and excellence. Now let's go back to the statue and look at the laurel leaves that grow between them. They seem so delicate and fragile. Just the idea that he was able to carve these leaves from hard marble stone is fascinating to me, and I'm sure it will be the same for you when you see this statue live. The next statue is the Rape of Proserpina. This is one of my favorite statues of Bernini, as it showcases the sculptor's ability to transform solid marble into a lifelike soft human form. Just look at the hand of Pluto on the naked thigh of Proserpina, depicting the elasticity of the flesh. When looking at this masterpiece, you have the impression of looking at two real persons in a moment of struggle that have been frozen in time. This masterpiece was created by Bernini when he was just 23 years old. The story behind the statue is just as fascinating as the one we just spoke about. In ancient mythological Roman literature, Pluto, who is the god of the underworld, tries to abduct Proserpina and bring her down to the world of the dead with him. Proserpina's mother is Ceres, the goddess of agriculture. She is associated with fertilities of land and the growth of the crop. Of course, Ceres does not want to lose her daughter forever and comes to an agreement with Pluto. In the agreement, Proserpina will spend half of the year with Pluto in the underworld and half on Earth with her mother. In ancient times, this myth was seen as a way to explain the changing of seasons. Winter is when Proserpina is with Pluto in the underworld, and her mother Ceres is overcome with sorrow, and the earth becomes desolate and lifeless. Spring and summer is when Proserpina returns to earth. Ceres is happy and brings life back to land. Flowers bloom, warmth returns, and harvests flourish. The next one is the sexy sculpture of Pauline Bonaparte. Now, if you like gossip, this statue is for your taste. Pauline Bonaparte, sister of Napoleon and wife of Prince Camillo Borghese, was infamous for her beauty and promiscuity. Known for scandals and gossip, she allegedly posed fully nude for her sculpture while still married. Well, at that time that was very scandalous. Her husband commissioned this striking statue depicting Pauline as Venus Victrix, Venus the Victorious. It was sculpted by Antonio Canova.